Welcome, truth seekers and knowledge adventurers, to timeless knowledge discoveries. I'm your host, Noah Lobby, and today we're charting a course into one of the most talked about, most whispered about, and most perplexing stretches of water on our planet, the Bermuda Triangle. Have you ever looked at a map and felt a chill run down your spine when your finger traced over that infamous patch of the western North Atlantic Ocean? An area roughly bounded by Miami, Florida, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the island of Bermuda. For decades, this region, also known as the Devil's Triangle, has been blamed for the inexplicable disappearances of countless ships and aircraft. But what's the real story? Are there truly malevolent forces at play? Or is there something more explainable lurking beneath the waves? Picture this. It's the 20th century. Aviation is taking off, quite literally, and massive ships are crisscrossing the oceans, connecting continents. Yet in this specific, seemingly ordinary part of the Atlantic, vessels both big and small, planes both military and civilian, are reported to vanish without a trace. No wreckage, no distress calls, just silence. An unsettling, deafening silence. This peak notoriety in the mid-20th century cemented the Bermuda Triangle in popular culture as a place of profound mystery. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of myth and legend, dive into the historical accounts, and explore the scientific explanations. So grab your life vests and prepare for a journey into the enigma. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle wasn't born overnight. It was built upon a series of baffling incidents that captured the public imagination. Let's explore some of the most infamous cases that cemented its spooky reputation. Perhaps the most iconic is the disappearance of Flight 19 in December 1945. 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a routine training mission. These weren't rookie pilots. They were experienced airmen. Yet a few hours into the flight, radio transmissions became confused. The flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, reported that his compasses were malfunctioning and that he was unsure of their position. Everything is wrong, strange, even the ocean doesn't look as it should. One of the last garbled messages reportedly said. Then, complete silence. All 5 planes, carrying 14 airmen, vanished. Even more tragically, a Martin Mariner seaplane sent out to search for Flight 19, carrying a crew of 13, also disappeared that same day. No wreckage, no oil slicks, nothing. It was as if they had flown into another dimension. This single event, the loss of 6 aircraft and 27 men in a matter of hours, became a cornerstone of the Bermuda Triangle legend. Think about the families, the unanswered questions, the sheer bewilderment. It's easy to see why this story took hold. Then there's the tale of the USS Cyclops, a massive U.S. Navy collier ship that vanished in March 1918. This wasn't a small fishing boat. It was over 500 feet long and carrying over 300 crew members and a heavy cargo of manganese ore. It left Barbados bound for Baltimore and was never seen again. No SOS was ever received. The weather was reported to be calm. The Cyclops just evaporated. Theories ranged from German U-boats, though this was largely dismissed after World War I, to a rogue wave, or perhaps something more unusual. Its sister ships, the Proteus and Nereus, also vanished along similar routes in World War II, adding another layer of eerie coincidence. Another fascinating, though perhaps less dramatic, case is that of the Mary Celeste, often incorrectly associated with the Triangle, but emblematic of the kind of maritime mystery that fueled its allure. Found adrift and deserted in 1872, admittedly outside the Triangle and earlier than its peak notoriety, but often lumped in. The ship was in seaworthy condition, its cargo intact, and a meal seemingly left unfinished. While its true story is separate, the idea of a ghost ship, crew inexplicably gone, resonated with the later Triangle narratives. And who could forget the stories of smaller vessels, yachts like the Witchcraft, which disappeared on December 22, 1967, Owner Dan Barak took a friend, Father Patrick Horgan, out to see the Christmas lights off Miami. He radioed the Coast Guard, reporting he'd hit something, but wasn't in immediate danger and just needed a tow. Within 20 minutes, the Coast Guard arrived at his stated position, but the Witchcraft was gone. An extensive search found nothing. The boat was equipped with numerous flotation devices, yet none were found. These are just a few of the headline-grabbing disappearances. Authors in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, like Vincent Gaddis, who coined the term Bermuda Triangle in 1964, and Charles Berlitz, whose 1974 bestseller, The Bermuda Triangle, sold millions, compiled these stories, often embellishing them, creating a narrative of a uniquely dangerous and paranormal hotspot. The public was hooked. Could it be ancient curses, UFOs, sea monsters, time warps? The theories were as wild as the ocean itself. Now, as fascinating and spine-chilling as those stories are, it's crucial for us, as seekers of timeless knowledge, to look beyond the sensationalism. When we apply a critical lens and consult experts, a different picture of the Bermuda Triangle begins to emerge. So, why have so many ships and aircraft allegedly vanished in this region? Let's break down some of the most plausible science-backed explanations. First and foremost, location, location, location. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the most heavily trafficked maritime and aviation crossroads in the world. For centuries, ships have sailed these waters en route to and from the Americas, Europe, and the Caribbean islands. In the 20th century, air traffic exploded along these routes too. Now, basic probability tells us that a higher volume of traffic will, unfortunately, lead to a higher number of incidents and accidents, regardless of any mysterious forces. More ships and planes simply mean more opportunities for things to go wrong. Secondly, let's talk about Mother Nature's fury. The weather in this region can be incredibly volatile and unpredictable. It's susceptible to hurricanes. The Atlantic hurricane season regularly spawns powerful storms that churn through the triangle. These storms can generate colossal waves, torrential rain, and violent winds easily capable of overwhelming even large vessels and aircraft. Imagine a ship in the 1940s facing a Category 5 hurricane. Their chances would be slim. Sudden thunderstorms. Tropical regions are prone to rapid, intense thunderstorms that can appear with little warning. These can create severe turbulence, waterspouts, tornadoes over water, and downbursts that can spell disaster for aircraft and smaller boats. The Gulf Stream. This powerful, warm ocean current flows right through the Bermuda Triangle. It's like a swift river within the ocean, reaching speeds of up to 5 to 6 miles per hour. This current can carry wreckage far away. If a ship or plane does go down, the Gulf Stream can quickly disperse debris over a vast area, making it incredibly difficult to locate. This explains why sometimes no wreckage is found. It's simply been swept away. Create navigational challenges. Unwary mariners can be pushed off course by its strong currents, especially in earlier eras before advanced GPS technology. Thirdly, consider the geology of the seabed. The ocean floor in the Bermuda Triangle is incredibly diverse and in places treacherous. Extreme depths, some areas plunge to staggering depths, including the Puerto Rico Trench, which is over 27,000 feet deep. That's deeper than Mount Everest is tall. If a vessel sinks in these abyssal plains, it can be nearly impossible to find or recover. Methane hydrates. This is a really interesting one. The seabed in some parts of the triangle contains vast deposits of methane gas, trapped in ice-like crystals called methane hydrates. Scientists have theorized that if these hydrates become unstable, perhaps due to seismic activity or changes in water temperature, they could release enormous bubbles of methane gas that rush to the surface. What does this mean for ships? A massive plume of gas-saturated water would have a significantly lower density than normal seawater. A ship sailing into such an area could suddenly lose buoyancy and sink rapidly, almost as if the bottom dropped out from beneath it. Think of it like a boat suddenly trying to float on froth. It just wouldn't work. And for planes? While less directly impactful, large methane releases could potentially cause engine stalls or even ignite if concentrated enough, though this is more speculative for aircraft. Fourth, we can't ignore human error and equipment failure. This is, statistically, the leading cause of transportation accidents worldwide, and the Bermuda Triangle is no exception. Navigational errors, especially before the advent of GPS and other advanced electronic navigation systems, pilots and captains relied on compasses, sextants, and dead reckoning. Compasses can be affected by magnetic anomalies, which we'll touch on, and human miscalculation was always a risk. Getting lost in a vast expanse of ocean, running out of fuel, or straying into bad weather was a very real danger. Remember Flight 19? The leader reported compass issues and being disoriented. Inadequate training or experience. Some incidents involved individuals or crews who may not have been fully prepared for the conditions they encountered. Mechanical failures. Ships and planes are complex machines. Engines can fail. Structural integrity can be compromised. Electrical systems can short out. In the harsh saltwater environment, corrosion is a constant battle. A critical failure far from land can be catastrophic. Poor decision-making, pressing on into deteriorating weather, overloading vessels, or taking shortcuts, these are all human factors that can lead to disaster. Finally, let's address the magnetic anomaly myth. One popular theory is that the Bermuda Triangle has unusual magnetic variations that cause compasses to spin wildly, leading to navigational chaos. While it's true that the geographic North Pole and the magnetic North Pole are not in the same place, and this variation, called magnetic declination, changes depending on your location, the Bermuda Triangle is not one of only two places on Earth where true north and magnetic north align, as some legends claim. In fact, lines of agonic declination, where true and magnetic north align, move over time. While compasses do need to be corrected for declination, these variations are well understood and charted. Experienced navigators have always accounted for this. There's no evidence of uniquely confusing magnetic fields in the triangle that would reliably baffle modern or even well-calibrated historical instruments beyond normal, predictable variations. So, when you combine heavy traffic, volatile weather, challenging currents, a deep and complex seabed, and the ever-present possibility of human error or mechanical failure, the Bermuda Triangle starts to look less like a paranormal mystery and more like a region where the odds of accidents are simply higher and the chances of finding evidence lower. The allure of the Bermuda Triangle was significantly amplified by writers and sensationalists who, shall we say, weren't always strictly adhering to the facts. Let's put on our critical thinking caps and address some of the exaggerations and misinformation. A key figure in debunking the myths is Larry Couchet, a research librarian who in the 1970s became fascinated by the triangle claims. Unlike many authors before him, Couchet went back to primary sources: official accident reports from the Navy and Air Force, newspaper archives, and insurance records. His 1975 book, The Bermuda Triangle Mystery Solved, presented some startling findings. Exaggerated numbers. Couchet found that the number of actual unexplained disappearances was far lower than what sensationalist authors claimed. Many alleged mystery disappearances had perfectly logical explanations that were simply omitted or ignored by triangle proponents. Misreported locations. Some incidents attributed to the triangle actually occurred well outside its commonly defined boundaries. It seems the triangle was conveniently stretched to include any suitably mysterious event. Weather ignored. In many cases, Berlitz and others failed to mention severe storms or other hazardous weather conditions that were present at the time of a disappearance. For instance, some ships reported lost in calm seas actually sailed directly into hurricanes. Vanished without a trace isn't always true. Couchet discovered that sometimes wreckage was found, or that ships presumed to have vanished mysteriously were later found to have sunk for mundane reasons. These details were often left out of the popular narratives because they didn't fit the spooky story. The power of a good story. People love a mystery. Once the idea of the Bermuda Triangle took root, it became a self-perpetuating legend. Any accident in the area was immediately scrutinized for unusual elements, even if there weren't any. Let's revisit Flight 19. While undeniably tragic and puzzling, some facts are often glossed over. Lieutenant Taylor, the flight leader, was new to the Fort Lauderdale area and had reportedly tried to beg off the flight that day. He also had a history of getting lost while flying. The Avengers were known to be difficult to ditch and sank quickly. Radio communications suggested Taylor mistakenly believed they were over the Florida Keys, a long way from their actual position, and he was trying to navigate based on islands he thought he recognized. This indicates severe disorientation, not necessarily a supernatural event. The search plane, the Martin Mariner, had a nickname, the Flying Gas Tank. They were known for having a tendency for fuel vapors to accumulate, making them prone to in-flight explosions. An oil tanker in the area reported seeing a mid-air explosion around the time and place the Mariner would have been. What about the USS Cyclops? While its disappearance remains one of the Navy's largest non-combat losses of life at sea, several factors are often downplayed. It was carrying a very heavy cargo of manganese ore, which can shift and become unstable. The ship had a history of structural issues and was known to roll heavily in rough seas. One of its engines was also inoperative. While the weather was reported calm when it left Barbados, it would have encountered different conditions on its journey north. A sudden storm or a rogue wave could have overwhelmed the already compromised vessel. Even the Coast Guard and Lloyd's of London, who you'd think would be sounding alarm bells if the triangle were uniquely perilous, state that the accident rate in the Bermuda Triangle is no higher than in any other comparably trafficked stretch of ocean. They don't recognize it as a uniquely hazardous area. It seems the enigma of the Bermuda Triangle is less about unexplained phenomena and more about a potent cocktail of real maritime tragedies, journalistic embellishment, confirmation bias, and our innate human fascination with the unknown. The stories are captivating, but the evidence for paranormal activity is, much like many of the lost vessels, largely missing. So, where does that leave the Bermuda Triangle today? With advancements in navigation like GPS, ship and aircraft design, weather forecasting, and communication technology, has the mystery finally been laid to rest? Well, accidents still happen, of course. The ocean will always be a powerful and sometimes dangerous place, but the rate of unexplained disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle has dramatically decreased. Modern technology provides a much greater safety net. GPS and satellite navigation, pinpoint global positioning means it's much harder to get lost. Advanced weather forecasting, we can now predict hurricanes and severe storms with much greater accuracy, allowing vessels and aircraft to avoid them. Emergency position indicating radio beacons, EPIRBs. These devices automatically transmit distress signals with location data if a ship or plane gets into trouble, vastly improving search and rescue efforts. Improved ship and aircraft design. Modern vessels and planes are built with greater structural integrity and more redundant safety systems. While the romantic allure of a mysterious, ship-swallowing vortex might be fading in the face of science and technology, the Bermuda Triangle has undeniably left its mark on popular culture. It's a fantastic example of how legends are born and how they can sometimes overshadow reality. So, what are our key takeaways from this journey into the turbulent tides of the Bermuda Triangle? 1. The power of story. The Bermuda Triangle legend highlights our love for mystery and the compelling nature of a well-told, spooky tale. These narratives tap into our primal fears of the unknown and the vastness of nature. 2. Critical thinking is key. It's essential to question sensational claims and seek out evidence-based explanations. Larry Cush's work is a testament to the importance of thorough research in debunking myths. Don't just accept the spooky story. Dig deeper. 3. Nature's might. The primary culprits behind many disappearances are likely the formidable and often unpredictable forces of nature. Violent storms, powerful currents, and challenging geological features. The ocean demands respect. 4. Human factors, human error, poor judgment, and mechanical failures have always been significant contributors to transportation accidents, and the triangle is no exception. 5. Science provides answers. While some individual cases may always retain an element of mystery due to a lack of definitive evidence, especially older ones, science offers logical and plausible explanations for the patterns of incidents attributed to the Bermuda Triangle. Methane hydrates, rogue waves, the Gulf Stream. These are powerful, real phenomena. The Bermuda Triangle isn't necessarily a paranormal void, but it is a region where a confluence of natural factors and heavy human traffic has historically led to a number of tragedies. The real mystery might just be how readily we embrace the fantastical over the factual. The Bermuda Triangle, a name that conjures images of swirling compasses, radio silence, and ships vanishing into thin air. While the reality is likely far less supernatural, the stories have undeniably captured our collective imagination for generations. It serves as a potent reminder of the power of the natural world, the fallibility of our technology and ourselves, and our enduring quest to understand the unexplained. Perhaps the greatest discovery in exploring the Bermuda Triangle is not about finding monsters or portals, but about understanding our own fascination with the unknown and the importance of seeking truth through knowledge. What are your thoughts on the Bermuda Triangle? Do you have a favorite theory, or perhaps a story passed down through your family? We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining us on Timeless Knowledge Discoveries. If you found this journey insightful and inspiring, please help us spread the knowledge by hitting that like button, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's fascinating corners, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering. I'm Noah Lobby, and this has been Timeless Knowledge Discoveries. Safe travels, everyone.